Hey guys and gals, my name is Eclep and welcome back to Umineko with Matt.
Hey.
And we see something. Dun 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 dun. Where did we leave off last time anyways?
Battler and Beatrice were talking. That's not very specific. I honestly I'm having a little trouble recalling.
I cannot recall either. What happened? A witch came and took our memories away. That's what happened.
I think it was magic.
I think it was magic. Oh, okay. So, to address what some people are saying in the comments, I've not necessarily clarified this yet, but I did play up to chapter 7. I think I started a little bit of chapter 7 back 2 years ago when I originally read this. I don't remember anything really except for like a few big things that happened between now and then, but like a lot of this is like new. Even though I've read it, it's kind of new to me again because I don't remember much of it. So a lot of these theories I'm coming up with are, for the most part, theories that I'm having not remembering anything.
Yeah.
So there's that, and also we've heard your interesting debates in the comments about the best episode. We'll let you know what episode's our favorite when we finish it all, but I think at the end of this chapter we might as well go and do, or at the end of chapter 3 we might as well go do a video looking back at all the murders, seeing if we can figure out who done it.
Yeah, I think that's a really good idea. I think that would be a lot of fun.
Yep. So you got that in store. Anyways, Battler sees something. What does Battler see? Oh, back to this.
They were debating whether... Okay, I gotcha.
ということは18人全員に不可能だから魔法犯罪であるという図式は崩せる。これは大きい情報だぜ。失礼いたします。
Oh, this guy.
Yep.
Ronove.
Ronove. Bedo's butler, who called himself Ronove, appeared out of nowhere in particular. Placed upon the silver tray that he held was a plate filled with delicious-looking, steaming black tea and cookies.
Nice.
I really don't like this guy's smile. For some reason, it doesn't look like a smile used to warmly greet a guest. It feels like he's making fun of me for some reason. I don't know whether he really takes me for an idiot, or whether it's just a joke or something, but it's really irritating me.
いらねえよ。俺は今取り込み中なんだ。放っておいてくれ。
おやおや、それは美味しく焼けたクッキーなのに、とても残念です。人間ごときにはもったいないくらいに素敵に焼き上がった。それは素敵なクッキーなのに。
What are they, Kraus cookies?
I was just gonna ask.
その辺に置いて、とっととうせな。
Kraus cookies.
それでは、そのようにいたしますよ。冷めてからお召し上がりになって、焼きたてを召し上がらなかったことを存分に後悔なされる。
いちいちうるさいやつだな。
If you were German or Pennsylvania Dutch, you'd have some sauerkraut on your hot dog.
I thought you were gonna try to make a snickerdoodle joke.
No.
Sauerkraut.
Sauerkraut.
Kraus is just sauerkraut all the time.
Mm-hmm.
There's no like sweet Kraus, you know.
Mm-hmm. I do like me some sauerkraut after once in a while, you know.
I've never had it.
You've never had sauerkraut?
No,
What?
sir. And I'm like mostly German. So.
The hell? No sauerkraut for you. Wow. Okay.
I'm sorry.
Next time you get a hot dog somewhere, get it like, if you go to like a restaurant or like a sports venue that has like kraut, get a dog with kraut. Like hot dogs are really good with kraut on them, in my opinion. Add some nice flavoring. Chili and kraut on your dog. Then it's like a loaded hot dog.
That's yeah.
Just put some nacho cheese on it. But then
that's too much.
Then it's like you can't just use a hot dog bun for that. You gotta get like a huge hoagie roll.
Yeah.
To hold all the toppings and everything. So
and
it doesn't.
Then you got empty ends, because the hot dog isn't the same length as the roll.
Oh,
so
well,
like...
that's when you slice up a bunch of hot dogs and layer them.
This is getting way too intricate.
It's like a cheesesteak, but with hot dog meat instead.
That's true. Then it's like a cheese, kraut, pork,
Dog.
Dog.
Wolf.
I'll have to do that.
Yeah?
ま
I'll give it a try.
耳元で気色悪くケラケラ笑うベアトのやつよりゃ数段マシだがよ。
いえいえ、まったく。お嬢様の笑い声は時折実に品があります。それを聞くたびに
I thought that said
な
Milady
ぜ私ほ
Slaughter.
どの高貴な悪魔が
Quite
あのようなも
undignified.
のを主にしなければならないのか。理解に苦しむのでございますよ。
Oh, it does look like My Lady Slaughter.
Yeah.
Because the S before... is it... Do we call it laughter or do we call it slafter?
I like slafter.
Slafter?
Because it sounds like you're a psycho laughing while you murder people.
Golden slafter. that works for Banzerichi.
It does.
Ay, she's
It
gonna
does.
slaughter people. Every time we hear the song Golden Slaft or Golden Slaughter, we're just gonna call it Golden Slafter.
Golden slafter.
You dead too. Get wrecked.
Oh, that's great. Slafter.
Slafter with some mackerel.
We're gonna have to get in touch with Merriam-Webster.
Oh,
Get that out of the dictionary.
yes, the new pronunciation.
Mm-hmm.
変なやつだな。そんなに嫌なら使えなきゃいいだろうが。
それでもなおお使いするのが家具の喜びなのでございます。それでなくては家具は務まりません。それはさておき、ゲームの方はいかがでございますか。先ほど良い情報を見つけたようなことを言われ、お喜びになられていたようで
Don't
す
tell
が、
him anything.
さてさて、どのような朝知恵が思いついたやら。
As Ronove made fun of me and giggled, he followed my earlier words to the letter and placed the black tea and cookie somewhere arbitrary nearby.
お方、19人目の存在に自信を深めたからでございましょう。
No.
よろしければ、ぜひご考説をお聞かせ願いますか。
There's no 19th person.
いいぜ。どうせベアトの前で改めて言うしな。隠す必要もないさ。いいか、この島に隠し屋敷があって、愛人を住まわせていたらしいんだ。
Right, that's what they were talking about.
となりゃ。
That's what we're thinking that's
俺
happening.
を苦し
I
めて
mean,
きた18人
this whole mansion on the island thing is not even confirmed yet.
マトラ様は魔女を否定するくせに。
Kind of want to believe it, but also don't want to believe anything that anyone ever tells me in this
Yeah.
game. So
18人の中にも犯人を求められないダブルスタンダードの袋小路に自らを追い込まれました。
魔女を否定する最も簡単な方法は18人の誰かを疑うことだ。18人全員のアリバイはそう簡単には揃わない。常に一人くらいはアリバイの脆い人間が生まれる。俺はそいつを生贄にすることで常に魔女を否定し続けることもできるだろう。しかしそれは断固拒否する。ああ、ダメだぜ。全然ダメだ。18人はみんな俺にとって親たちや親戚たちやいとこたち。
What?
Well-
Dr. Nanjo is none of the above.
neither is Genji,
Or Goda.
Kumisawa, Goda, Shannon, Kanon.
I guess he just considers them relatives.
Maybe.
そして真面目だったり面白かったりする頼もしい使用人の人たちだ。
So he separates the servants.
Yeah, we cut him off too early.
俺はその人たちの誰を生贄にすることも許せない。かつて俺はその決意があやふやだった。だからその心の弱さを
自らの弱点を認め、なかなかできることではありません。バトラ様は19人目が存在する槍というよりは盾でしょうかな。いずれにせよ、これまでのゲームでの無策と違い、戦い方に指針を持たれるのは劇的飛躍と申せましょう。
A great leap forward.
It's actually
Mao Zedong.
he says he's using it as a spear or a shield, but I'd call it a Schrodinger spear.
I remember something vaguely about that.
About what?
About didn't you say something like that last time?
I've said no. I've said a lot about Schrodinger. The
Okay.
whole Schrodinger's cat type thing.
Yeah.
I've said a lot about that in other situations, but I'd call it Schrodinger's spear because the theory of a 19th% has not been proven or disproven. Therefore, it simultaneously both
Is
exists
true
and does
is
not exist.
true. Yeah.
And until he throws the spear, we will know. if it hits or if it disappears in the air.
Yeah, that's true.
So it's Schrodinger's spear. Haha. He cannot throw it. The minute he throws it, it becomes
One or the other.
one or the other.
Yeah. Interesting.
And in that way, since he's still holding it, it's not only a Schrodinger's spear, it's a Schrodinger's shield. Because it's shielding him from one or the other options by holding it.
That's true. And so he doesn't have to face if there is actually a witch versus if one of the people that he cares about is the culprit.
He's holding out as long as he can before he throws the spear.
So you think he wants to have as much evidence as possible before he throws it, kind of thing?
I think he's just trying to avoid throwing the spear altogether. He's holding onto the spear. It's like juggling a spear that's on fire, trying not to get burned. And at the same time having like a bunch of freaking ravenous goats coming after you. Trying to avoid them too.
Ravenous goats.
And the only way to make it out alive is to throw the spear at the Golden Witch. But he can't throw the spear because if it hits, it means that one of his cousins or relatives is the culprit. And if it doesn't hit, if it disappears in there, it means there's a witch.
Right.
So he's just running in circles like a chicken with its head cut off, holding a sphere that may or may not exist, Schrodinger's sphere, and running away.
This is an excellent image you've painted.
I think so too.
I'm just picturing headless chicken battler
Me too.
holding a spear above his head.
Running from goats.
これでバトラ様は敬愛する18人を
That sounds like
疑わずに
one of Aesop's fables or something.
Yeah, with this, he doesn't have to doubt any of the 18 he loves and respects
Yeah.
until he's holding his spear on fire.
存分に19人目を疑い人間犯人説を追求できるわけでございます。
そういうことさ。最初のゲームのカノン君が殺されたボイラー室とか。
Or, because, okay, I guess the spear has a third part, because the third part could be a 19th person that's not one of them, and not a witch. So it could be the spear...
Well, that's always been my thinking, is that Beatrice, if she isn't a witch, then she has to be a person.
A person
Right.
that's... Are you saying she's a separate person that exists on the island? Or one of the 18 people on the island is impersonating her? Posing as her for some reason.
I want to say that she is a 19th
She
person,
is a 19th
but
person.
she isn't a witch, per se. She's just a 19th person.
Okay.
So there's no magic involved.
So you think there's a random just Beatrice on the island that nobody knows about?
Yeah.
Okay. Still doesn't explain how
Who may or may not be.
all these locked rooms and how all this magic shit keeps happening.
Well, that's true, but you've always been denying witches and magic, so then how does
What?
it work?
Whoever said witches don't exist?
If you're gonna... You said witches don't exist.
What? I never said
Multiple times.
that. Huh?
Multiple times. Just go back to all the videos.
Oh, blah, 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 blah. I do not recall this. No, witches don't exist. I got you.
Are
Get
you
wrecked.
Reaganing me right now?
Get wrecked.
Are you Ronald Reaganing me right now?
Huh? Who's a what's up?
他にも他に
When
も。
the whole Iran-Contra affair in the 80s, Reagan just said, I don't remember. And he like kind of got away with it too.
I cannot recall what happened to my email server. I do not recall.
Yeah, kind of.
I just don't know where all those 32,000 emails went. Anyways,
Classic.
changing the subject without even answering your question.
19人目が存在していたなら
Yeah, that's right.
迷う必要なんかないトリックはいくつもある。
And what tricks are those, Battler?
Good question.
In the very first game, Kanekun had been killed in the boiler room. One might think he was attacked by Kumasawa-san, who had gone down into the boiler room with him, or maybe that someone who had appeared to be dead earlier was actually faking, and had ambushed Kanekun in the boiler room. Either way, it was a move that forced me to suspect one of the 18. Alright, so... People in the comments are saying that this chapter drops, like, a lot of hints for us.
Really?
So, like... In terms of and I think in terms of like the murderer, it may, somebody said in the comments, if there is like if one of the 18 is like this murderer, it may or may not have anything to do with Beatrice. Somebody said that.
It may or may not have anything to do with it.
Yeah, which kind of confused me, but
Sorry, can you say that one more time? I'm a little.
if one of the 18, like if when we're going through the murder scene, the scenes of all the murders, trying to figure out who done it, and if we determine it's one of the 18, it being one of the 18, they're just a piece on the chessboard, which doesn't really necessarily say whether or not witches exist or not.
That's true. So, when they use exists in the quotes, does that mean they're referring to the chessboard? So, like, they say Beatrice exists, but maybe she doesn't exist as a piece, she only exists as a player.
I'm not sure.
Like, Battler is both a player and a piece in this story.
But there has to be a world outside these chessboards. Like, where is the original thing? Where does Battler originate from? If all of these have been chess games,
yeah,
on a chessboard, where is the world that Battler, who's playing the game, came from?
That he and Beatrice are in right now.
Yes.
I don't know.
Was there like an original scenario on an island that wasn't a chess game? And then all these are like copies of that?
Oh, so you mean maybe the very first episode
Well,
wasn't the chess game?
No, the first episode they already said was a chess game. It was a chessboard.
Oh, so you're saying even before the start of this VN?
Even before the start of the VN, because like obviously this stuff on the island is like Battler has to have come from somewhere where he has family that meets for a family conference.
Right.
And that are exactly the same people as the people in this chess game. But like, what happened to the original world Battler came from? That's playing in the chess game.
So there has to be kind of like a patient zero type thing, like an original actual historical event that happened in order to set up the following chess games, kind of thing.
That's what I'm thinking, but like, or somehow Battler got teleported to a place where he's playing this witch or person thing as Beatrice. A chess games, like, why is he playing her in chess games where people are on an island dying?
I don't know.
Like, he has to come from an original world where all these people, like, all the Avas we've met, all the Jessicas we've met, they've all been chess pieces. We've met a Battler who's been chess pieces, but we've also met Battler who's not been a chess piece.
Yeah.
Where's the Battler, like, there's a Battler that's not a chess piece. Where's the rest of them that aren't chess pieces?
That's a great question. So you think he got isekai'd into,
I don't know if he got isekai'd, but maybe this is, like, happening as, like, a dream or something for Battler?
just a really, really bad LSD trip?
I have no idea. Maybe he's
That's a good thought, though.
Maybe he's in a coma.
Could be.
Maybe something happens, a tragic event happened, and he's in a coma, and this entire thing is going to wake him up from a coma.
Maybe he went to a family conference and he got seriously injured and is now in a coma and is hallucinating all of this.
Huh.
But then that would mean that the murder already happened. The murders on the island already happened at the family conference historically, not as a chess game. So now he's like stuck.
But then how is he alive?
Good question. I don't know. That doesn't really make any sense.
Did he like somehow escape? It was maybe okay. maybe the murders
I meant,
actually
like, they thought he was dead, and they left him for dead, but...
murders actually happened on the island. He somehow made it out alive. Everybody else died. He got out somewhere, and then went insane and is imagining this all in his head.
Either that, or he was the murderer, historically, and went insane with grief and guilt afterwards.
Oh, shit.
And now he's hallucinating all this shit because he's actually, like, a psycho.
And this is one of the things where he doesn't he realized when he realized the impact of what he did to everybody after killing everybody, his memory went like blank and he lost all memories of actually doing it, and now this whole thing is going to bring back the memories that he's actually the murderer.
That would be pretty intense.
And then once he figures out, oh shit, I murdered them, and then the whole thing comes that he actually killed them in real life, and he's like, no! Ah!
And then...
The end.
Title card.
Yes.
Finn. It wouldn't be Umineko without one last tea party, though.
No, it wouldn't.
So maybe he can have, like, a tea party with his dead relatives.
Yeah, maybe. Tea party from their blood.
Have some Kraus tea.
Oh no.
And Kraus cookies.
With the very last drop of blood pressed.
That was so, like... Ugh. I mean, that's what it's there for. It's supposed to, like, shock you and, like... But... That was a lot. And I consider myself pretty desensitized to a lot of things.
I do too. But, that was pretty... Oof.
Pretty dark.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hopefully you guys enjoyed Speculation Hour.
Yeah, really, we kind of went off on a tangent there.
But see, here's the thing. People in the comments are like, go off on more tangents. We like hearing speculations and hearing all these wrong theories and laughing about how wrong you are. I read one comment, guys, like, it's one thing to see somebody that's really, really good at deducing things, and it's like, oh, he did this, he did that, and is right, like, about 99% of the things, but they're like, it's even better when people come up with these ridiculous theories that immediately gets disproven, and they're like, oh, shucks, I was wrong.
That's a good point.
It's more entertaining, I guess. Anyways.
That's cool.
However, by simply proposing that a 19th person exists, there's no longer any need to suspect one of the 18 for that murder in the boiler room.
つまり18人の誰にも無理だからイコールという図式だけだ否定することができるわけさ
And before red text, there's no 19th person.
Yeah.
Using this argument, we can say, for example, the question that has been raised once again in this game, who gave Mario the letter? And come up with an easy explanation. Even if all 18 people have alibis, I can easily explain everything by saying that a 19th person visited her and gave her the letter. I don't think there's a 19th person because of this.
What do you mean?
If there's a random 19th person, then he can just explain away everything.
That's true.
But
So-
at the same time, it hasn't been said in red that there's not a 19th person.
Well, yeah, I was just about to ask that. So, maybe that's something that's gonna happen further along.
Maybe.
But if not, then that's still a reasonable
Mhm.
assumption.
That's true.
So,
There might actually be a 19th
と
person.
ても良い一手だと思います。私だったらどう切り返しましょう。たとえバトラ様が理解されたとしても、未だに弱点18人攻めは有効な手でしょうね。
What?
バトラ様の守りがどの程度か確かめる意味でも、改めてそこをつくのも面白いかもしれません。
ならどう来る悪魔の執事
Oh no.
I don't think
バ
I'm
トラ
ready for
様が
this.
刺された19人目の駒を迎え撃つのが妥当でございましょう。バトラ様は
I think it might
19
be.
人目にお会いしておりませんね。19人目が存在する証拠をお願いできますか。
Devil's proof.
Yep.
甘えぜもちろんその差し手で来るだろうことは読んでいる
I don't need to prove
そ
you
れは
this.
それは受け手をお願いだ。
魔女だの悪魔だのお前らにこれほどふさわしい一手はないぜそれがこいつ悪魔の証明さ
When we humans are accused of something, we always counterattack by saying, to show some evidence. Where is your proof? Because that is a human move, but I'm fighting with a witch. I'm taking part in a battle with someone who isn't human, and some moves exist which can only be used in a game against a witch.
Wait, so he has admitted that she's a witch. Doesn't that mean that he...
Hypothetically.
Oh,
he's calling her a witch, in quotations.
But he doesn't actually believe that she is.
No, he doesn't.
Because she would win if that was the case.
Yes.
Right? Okay.
There are cheap moves. And that is what this devil's proof is. Therefore, evidence is unnecessary. Every time I get into an argument and don't have evidence with somebody, I'm just gonna say devil's proof. Get wrecked. You can't disprove it. Let's take the assumption that there's a hidden mansion on Rokkenjima separate from the Rishiromiya family mansion. Oh, we brought up Rokkenjima. Somebody in the comments of the video also mentioned how they didn't realize the Rokkenjima had number symbolism in it. They're like, oh.
Oh, yeah. Because Rock is 5?
Roku is 6.
Or Roku is 6. Okay.
Yeah. Anyways.
Interesting.
And that a woman named Beatrice is living there. In order to prove this, one must find this mansion and actually bring Beatrice out of it. That's called actual proof in the human world. But, however, if we follow the rules of the devil proof, you can't disprove that she exists even if there is no evidence that she does, because it's impossible to prove that something doesn't exist. That's right, this devil's proof, which tormented me so much before, I finally managed to use it to my own advantage. Those guys were always trying to force me to accept the existence of the witch by using the devil's proof. That was because in response to Beato's professions that witches do exist, I physically could not offer any proof that witches don't exist. That's why I've been subjected to this nonsense that witches exist and why I've been unable to counterattack. But now, and that's why, I'll flip over the chessboard right now. If I can't disprove that witches exist, then that means, if I suggest that a 19th person human exists, you can't disprove that either. Get wrecked. In other words, the enigmatic mistress in question is craftily hiding herself, so it's perfectly natural that you can never find her no matter how hard you look. So you can't say that the 19th person can't be found equals the 19th person doesn't exist, therefore it is impossible to disprove a 19th person. Beato used the devil's proof to make denying her existence impossible, but this time it's become my weapon. If we can get away with this argument, then never mind a 19th person. This island could be full of people we don't know about, and even if there are 10 or 100 of them hiding, she still can't disprove that they exist. In the last game and the one before that, among the murder scenes that showed up, there were several that were extremely intricate and must have taken a lot of effort to set up. It's very difficult to imagine that a single culprit could have set all those up. However, if not just a 90th person, but 10 or 100 people were hidden somewhere, there wouldn't be any problem at all. Master Underground race. They're all living underground.
Could be.
If they all split up the work, they could handle any job in a short period of time. Of course, doubts will naturally arise at whether a large group of people like that could sneak around the mansion without being noticed, but those are all settled by the devil's proof, because not seeing or noticing 100 people inside the mansion is not disproof that they were there. Even though I'm saying it myself, it's such a stupid argument that it makes me want to throw up. However, it's because it's such a dirty as hell move that makes it the perfect one to use against a witch. Well, we're only imagining here, but the thought of about 100 suspicious men wearing ghost masks hiding in the shadows, that goes beyond funny. Makes me think of cockroaches. If you see one, it means there's 100 hiding in the shadows.
Yeah.
へりくつまみれの暴論だとは思うぜ。相手が人間だったなら寝言を言うなと怒鳴られるところだろうよ。だが俺の相手は魔女だ。そして俺たちがやってるのはそういう勝負なんだろう。どんな暴論であろうとも人間で説明をつけ魔女を否定する。とにかくこの一手で俺は二度と親しい18人のみんなを疑わなくて済む。俺は二度と前回の失敗は繰り返さない。
なるほど、前回の失敗を学ばれているのですね。良いことですよ。さすがに3度もゲームを重ねると容量が良くなるものです。まずは自陣の守りを固める。実に堅実な処方です。なかなかの妙手と思いますよ。
まあ19人目の人物を仮定したとしてもマスターキーの本数などのように何人人間を増やしてもクリアできないトリックも残ってる。
What? The one-winged eagle?
Does he have the one-winged eagle on his? But he's Beatrice's butler. That's an Ushiromiya symbol. Why would he have it?
Because Beitorichi is somehow connected to the Shirame family?
Is she the one that gave them the one-winged eagle crest?
Possibly.
They would have had that, right? I would think.
If what?
Like the family down the lines. Unless, since Kinzo like restarted the family and rebuilt everything, maybe that's actually like her symbol. Rather than it is Kinzo's and like she gave it to him to use kind of thing.
I don't know. Maybe.
Just a thought. I was just wondering why he would have it if he's not Kinzo's furniture.
That's true.
しかしとりあえずの初手としては悪くないはずだ。
バトラ様の切り札、19人目の人物という大駒。証拠はあるのかとの私の手にバトラ良い攻防です。
Good skirmish.
お嬢様のおられないところで勝手に手を進めてしまうのは申し訳ないのですが、私も少し面白くなってきてしまったところです。お嬢様に代わりさらに一手進めさせていただきましょうか。
来いよ。魔女だろうと悪魔だろうと相手に不足はねえ。
バトラ様の刺された一手、これは私ども悪魔のお箱でございますが、他にも私どもヘンペルのカラスという一手はご
What?
存知ですか？
Hempel's Raven?
ヘンペルのカラス？何の話だ？
Ha. Oh no. Just then, that laugh, which gets on my nerves every time I hear it, started echoing around.
Yeah, us too. Butterflies.
The room was filled with dazzling golden butterflies, and in the center of that whirlwind, the Golden Witch appeared.
Why are you like
これ
this?
はお嬢様、おはようございます。
わらわのいないところで何やら面白そうなことをしていると思う。ヘンペルのカラス。なんとも笑える懐かしいってよ。よもやバトラに披露する日が来ようとはな。
I used that back in Nam.
I highly doubt that you were in
No, that was what Beitorichi said.
Oh.
She used it back in Nam. It was
I
nostalgic
can't-
for her.
I can't imagine. Although, if she can use magic, she could like spray napalm from her pipe.
Oh
or
my
something.
gosh.
それは悪魔の証明に並ぶ古典的一手だ。
What? Why didn't you teach me this before?
ロノウェ
That's what
そ
they
れ
said in
はわらわ
Boy
が
City.
指す一手ぞ。わらわの楽しみを減らしてくれるな。
出やがったな。ゲラゲラ魔女め。相変わらず下品に笑いやがって。こいつもお前のこと。笑い方に品がねえって陰口言ってたぜ。まあ
Nice.
それは心外。本当か？
ね、そうもない。心より尊敬申し上げているお嬢様に、この私めがどうしてそのような陰口を申せましょうか。
Battler, freaking narc.
Yeah, really.
よくもお前とは仲良くなれそうにないぜ。
まあよい。話を戻そう。ヘンペルのカラスは実証を待遇的に行ってみせる。
Contrapositive?
つまりこういう手だ。
Is that a contradiction?
カラスが黒いことを証明するにはどうすればいい？
あ？何の話だ？カラスが黒いことを証明。
Yeah, find a raven.
カラスを捕まえてきて色が黒いことを確認すりゃいいだけの話だ。
その通り。カラスイコール黒いを証明すればよい。
But that doesn't mean all ravens are black, right?
黒くない鳥イコールカラスで
If
は
you
ない。
prove that a bird is not black, it is not a raven.
同じ論法になるのがわかるかな？
But there are other black birds that aren't ravens.
But she's saying if you prove that a bird is not black, it is not a raven. So if you prove that there are no other black birds than ravens.
Oh, okay.
So basically, if a bird is not black, it is not a raven. It's the same thing as saying if a bird is black, it is a raven.
Okay, I see.
世界中のカラスでない鳥をすべて調べ、 それらが黒くないことを証明すれば、それは結果的に
Yeah.
故に黒い鳥はカラスであるとなるわけだ。
So if you go through and examine everybody in the world, and
say,
none of them are murderers,
これを対偶論法という。
then that means that. Wait, sorry.
I lost myself there.
Yeah.
何言ってやがるのかさっぱりだ。
バトラ様、こういう例え話はいかがですか。2つの箱があり、片方は当たりで
You and your
キーが入
cookies.
っている
I
と
like to
いたし
think of
ます。
myself as like pretty sharp and intelligent, but like sometimes when they explain stuff, I'm just like,
What?
what is going on?
もちろん、もう片方は外れで空っぽです。
Schrodinger's cookies. One box is.
No.
For example, let's say we have two boxes here, one being the winner with a cookie inside, and the other being loser, which is empty. Now it holds that if there is a cookie inside, it is the winner, and at the same time, it also holds that if it is not the winner, there is no cookie inside. When such a relationship exists, we call the latter the contrapositive. If A then B is true, then at the same time, if not B, then not A is also true.
I see.
そりゃ当然だろう。もし選んだ方が外れだったなら、もう片方は自動的に当たりってことになる。つまり、箱を適当に選び、当たりを引こうと外れを引こうと、最初の一手でどっちの箱にクッキーが入っているか特定できるわけだ。
Yeah.
その通り。
Had an example in chemistry where we were doing the we were working with rate law or equilibrium equations, and there are multiple different R values, and well, there are two different R values we've been working with, and the professor asked the class if anybody knew which R value it was. Somebody guessed one of the two and was wrong, and she's like, okay, so who else knows it? And she's like, well, obviously there's only one left, so you do know it.
Oh yeah. Yeah. That's cool.
Yeah.
So as soon as you, I mean, it's kind of like process of elimination.
Mhm.
Like as soon as you can,
It is process of elimination.
whether you figure it out or not, you know what the right one is if there's only two.
Yep.
開けた箱にクッキーが入っていたなら、悪魔の証明を満たす。
It's like trying to get through a field with landmines. Just walk on a bunch of them, and you'll know where it's safe.
Trial and error with landmines.
Hey, at least I have my head and an arm left.
Yeah.
この箱は当たり。
I think they
この箱にはクッキーが
don't
入
quote
っ
me on this because I'm not 100%
もう
sure,
ま
but
さ
I
に実
think
証できるわけだ。
the Russians in World War II would use German soldiers as like they would send them out to clear mines
Oh my gosh.
and basically like kind of use them as like a trial and error thing.
Oof.
I'm pretty sure I read a book on Stalingrad.
Oh my gosh.
And I think that mentioned it. Oh, Stalingrad though. Oh,
Well,
sorry, that's a lot.
some crazy minesweeper there.
Yeah, really. Human minesweeper.
Mm-hmm.
開けた箱が空っぽだったなら、この時は逆に、この箱にクッキーが入っていない、イコール、
If
こ
you
の
can
箱
prove,
は当たり
okay,
ではない。
better thing. If you can prove that everybody in the world, other than the 18 on the island, are not murderers, then that means
That
somebody of
means
the
that
18 needs to be.
someone of the 18 is a murderer.
Yes.
Okay.
そしてそれは、箱が2つしかないことを前提としている限り、もう片方の箱が自動的に当たりであることを
Right,
対
so
偶
as,
的に示している。
as long as we accept the premise that there's only 18 people, then and none of them are the murderers, then it
Mhm.
has to be a witch,
Yep.
right? That's what she's saying.
Mm-hmm.
ま
I think so.
なんとなく理屈は分かったぜ。
Probably.
毒を制するには毒、へりくつにはへりくつってわけだ。それで俺の島には19人目の人間が隠れているに違いないから、18人全員にアリバイがあってもそれは魔女を認めることにはならないを。
よかろう。わらわの手は教えよ。まずそなた。18人の中に犯人はいない。イコール ならば待遇としてこうなるわけだ。
In before red
つまり
text.
犯人は19人目ではない。イコールならば18人
Oh,
の中
there
に
could
犯
be a
人がい
19th
る。
person who's not the culprit.
Mm-hmm.
Haha.
はあなんだとそれはどういう意味だ
そなたの指し手を逆手に取っただけだが、そう難しい話ではあるまい。
Ooh.
ロノウェ説明せよ。そなたのさっきのクッキーの箱の例えはバトラに分かりやすいらしい。
Butler.
それでは僭越ながら先ほどの例え
I love all the logic in this
もう
game.
一度ご説明させていただきます
Allow me to repeat once more my earlier story about two treasure chests, one of which has a cookie in it. In this situation, one of the boxes represents the 18th people, and the other box represents the 19th person. That's my runaway voice.
It's pretty close.
Because I'm runaway right now. So the cookie would represent the culprit. Battle of Summer, you open the 18th box. Because the cookie is not there, you have proven from the opposite direction that therefore the cookie is in the 19th box. In that case, if we reverse things further, we could also say the following. Namely, if it was the first shown that the 19th box was empty, it would prove in just the same way that the cookie is in the 18th box. Battle of Summer, this movie played in order to avoid having to doubt any of the 18 hasn't been in fact used against you to launch the 18-person attack.
なんだと
わらわが19人目の箱の中身が空っぽで
Schrodinger's
あることを
box.
Oh my
証
god.
明すれば
This is a lot to
そ
handle
なた
right
は
now.
自動で
Don't open the 19th box. Don't open the 19th box.
18人の箱
He'll
の
be
中に
forced to
ク
choose
ッキ
then.
ーがあることを認めなければならないということ。
He's gonna throw Schrodinger's spear at her to make sure she doesn't open Schrodinger's box.
I mean, is that really? I mean, it's gonna lead to the same thing.
This
right?
whole world is a Schrodinger's world. Does it exist or not?
そなたはそれを逆の言い方
Nothing
で
is
口
real.
にしたに過ぎんだ。
Everything is a lie.
つまり俺の自信満々の一手は同時に諸刃の剣でもあるってわけか
It's a Schrodinger's sword.
その通り。そなたの
Is this Schrodinger's episode?
全てを
Maybe.
Is that what
説
this
明
video
す
is
る
gonna be called?
Mhm.
それが破られた時、18人でしか説明できないことを認めざるを得ないリスクを背負っている。
But what about the existence of a 20th person?
I see. Hempel's Raven. So this is a countering technique. Wait, if I really think about it, this countering technique is far more disadvantageous for me than her. The problem is in thinking about it like a cookie. If I imagine that just one of the treasure chests is a losing chest with a bomb in it, then I can begin to understand it quite well. And if I think of it as not two treasure chests, but as 18, one for each person, plus one more for the 19th person, for a total of 19 boxes, it gets even easier to understand. It's like Minesweeper.
Yeah, kind of.
First of all, one of the premises established by the human culprit theory was that the bomb would definitely be in one of those boxes. Because I hadn't wanted to place the bomb in any one of those 18th boxes, I had used the Devil's Proof and created the 19th box so I could throw the bomb there. That much was alright, but Beto had struck like this. If, then, the 19th box was empty inside, that would automatically mean that the bomb was set in one of the other 18th boxes. If I could examine the contents of each of the 18 boxes, and show that the bomb was not in any of those boxes, I would be able to safely show that the 18 people were innocent. If that was possible, I'd be feeling confident. However, in reality, that's as close as you can get to impossible. The police wouldn't come here in this typhoon. There would be no more scientific investigations, no autopsies, no nothing. In short, I can't show anything decisively. It's impossible for me to find any proof other than simply gulping down whatever alibis each of the 18th give. In that case, I have to confirm their innocence both personally and perfectly. Like staying with someone the whole time, never letting them out of my sight for a second. If I do that, I can probably be sure of that person's innocence, and that bomb is not in that box. However, in reality, something like that is impossible. In other words, I have to expend an incredible effort just to check the contents of one box.
He has to basically.
And there are 18 of them!
He basically has to play 18 chess games.
Yes, maybe.
And maybe not even then, because each of the games that we've seen have been slightly different so far. So even the events might not be 100% the same.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, that would be way too much.
That's
So,
true. I mean, we'll see. We'll see what happens.
Yeah. Why are you lingering on the eye contact there?
And in other words, unless I bind all 18 of them in chains and watch over them. That was a non-answer. It is impossible to prove that all 18 of them have empty boxes. However, Beto only has to open one box, the 19th box, and show that it is empty to prove that the bomb is in one of the other 18th boxes. What if she opens it and it explodes in her face?
That would be hilarious.
Furthermore, there is no need for her to show which of the 18th boxes is the bomb. If I have 18 times more work to do and explain my pet theory than Beto does for hers. Yes, that's what you said.
Yeah.
Take forever.
Yononaka悪魔の証明がそうであるように反論に膨大な手間がかかり事実上不可能であるケースが少なくない。しかしヘンペルのカラスはその問題を逆手に取り容易に実証することを可能とする。
ヘンペルのカラスを使えば様々な暴論が実証可能なんです。例えば私以外の人間イコール愚かであるという命題な
All humans except for me are foolish.
これを証明するには本来私を除く全人類を調べしかし何十億人も調べるなど現実には不可能。
Yes, this is what I was saying. You can't just go out and say that 100,000 people on the island are not murderers. That's just like really tough to say investigate all of them. It's
Yeah.
バトラ様の
Because
18
like I was
箱を
saying,
開ける
he
手
would
間
have
と
to
全く
follow
同じです。
one person
No, but
very closely.
he doesn't have to just make 19 boxes. He could make 119 boxes or 1,019 boxes. Then she has like 10,000 times more work. He can
That's
just
true.
keep creating boxes. Come on,
しかしヘンペルのカラスな
That's
ら
a
ば
good point.
Battler.
その命題
Bring it
は
up. You can make more
こう
boxes.
変換される。つまり私以外の人間イコール愚かである。
This backfires on them. The more boxes you make, the more they have to open.
Mm-hmm.
チェス盤をひっくり返し愚かではないイコール私として証明しても良いということだ。つまりどういうことだと思うわらわが聡明であるという事実を知るだけで全人類は愚かであることの何十億人分もの証明が直ちに終了してしまうわけだ。全人類がわらわよりも愚かであることをわずか1秒もかけずに証明終了できる。世界最強最速の QED。 これぞヘンペルのカラス。
なんつう暴論だよ。
これはとても便利な一手ですよ。悪魔どころか神々も好む一手です。幸福であるイコール待遇は神のしもべでない人間イコール幸福であってはいけないとなります、つまり神のしもべがその加護によって幸福であることを実証するためにはその加護を受けぬ人々が不幸であることを実証すればいいわけです。そして彼らは自らの神を信じない人々を不幸に突き落とすことで自らの幸福を実証する。
That's really interesting.
人に幸福を与えるにはしかし人を不幸にするのに必要なコストははるかに安上がりだ、つまりヘンペルのカラスを使えば神々は実に低コストで信者に加護の喜びを与えられるわけよ。
Joy by lack of harm.
Yeah.
悪魔だ。悪魔の理論だ。めちゃくちゃだ。
話がそれてしまったようだね。そろそろ話を戻そうぜ。
What was even the topic to begin with?
わらわの反撃の一手は以上だ。そなたは
Boxes and
19人目が犯人だから18人は無実で魔女も存在しない。ならば19人目が犯人でないことを証明できたら18人か魔女のどちらかが犯人ということで確定するぞとの確認だ。
so we would basically just come back to where we were before.
For a while, I just stood there shocked, completely forgetting to close my mouth, just when I thought I'd got my own back on them by using their favorite move against them. The counterattack to that had been this reckless argument that I could not have even begun to imagine. Was it really impossible to continue denying the witch on an island with no more than 18 people and yet still believe in the innocence of those 18 people? Was that just the delusion? Was I just trying to escape reality? Not yet. Don't give up on the struggle yet. Who cares about who's ever Raven? They're just trying to speak in riddles by bringing up some weird bits of trivia. What? I had used the devil's proof.
I mean, it's legit.
Don't feel down in something once you've used it. Believe in the spirit you flinch forth with.
Okay.
Apply even more force and gouge it in.
Gouge the eye.
まだまだ
Gouge
序
the
盤
head.
だぞ。この程度で長考するつもりか。
And kill.
I feel like this is directed at us.
Yeah. I think so too.
いや待て、確認するぞ。
Dun. Oh yes. Dun.
確かに俺は分かりやすく19人目という言い
Yes,
方をした
yes,
が
yes, yes, yes.
悪魔の証明によって18人以上人間を増やせるなら
Yeah. You got it.
それは10人いるか100人いるかもわからない不特定多数ということだ
There you go, Battler. There you go, my boy.
お前が想定する人数より常に1人多いわかるか
He did it.
He's got it.
She had returned my twisted logic with something even more twisted, so the only thing that could counter that would be even crazier twisted logic.
Out crazy to crazy.
なるほど。
なるほど。
我々が19人目のアリバイを何
Can
らか
keep
の方法
creating
で証明
19th
したと
box.
しても、その瞬間にそなたは20人目を生み出し犯人だと主張する。これを無限に繰り返すことによって、わらわは永遠に彼らのアリバイの証明が終えられないというわけか。なるほど
She's gonna have some bullshit response to this, isn't she?
She's gonna say, "Oh, I'm the endless witch, so we can keep looking as long as we ever want."
さ
Yeah.
ながらイナゴの大群を呼び出す魔王よな。さすがは金蔵の孫よ。召喚術の才能には恵まれていると見える。
つまり18人以外の存在 X は常にアリバイを証明することが不可能なんだどうだベアト
I'll just kill them all.
ヘリクス合戦だと分かれば俺も負けねえぜ
愚かしい。わらわを誰とこ
Oh no.
わらわこそ
I
は
think,
無限の魔女。
She can just keep going.
無限にて挑むとは肩払いたいわ。無限を操ることはつまり無限を殺すこともできるということ。
That's also what I just said too.
How do you kill infinity?
わらわが19人目を切れば
But yeah,
20人目を切
You were
れ
right.
ば21人
In
目を呼
both
び
both cases.
21人目を切れば22人目を23人目を呼び34人目を呼び6計4358兆2235億7967万3204人目を呼び
She must have rehearsed that line so fucking much in the recording studio.
わらわを永遠に翻弄で生きるとでも無限交代とは笑わせる。わらわに無限は通じぬわ。
ほうならばどうやってこの俺の無限を殺すんだよ見せてみろよ
わらわには
Oh
真実
no.
を赤で語る
No, no, no,
We
no,
knew
no.
it was coming.
No, 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 no,
We
no,
knew
no,
it
no,
was coming.
no, 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 no. No, 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 no,
わ
no.
らわが赤で語るときそこには一切の幻想がない。
No!
わらわがこの島には100人しかいないと一言赤で語ればそなたにはもはや101人目を生み出すことはかなわぬのだ。ほーらバト
Battler.
今度はどんな真実を赤で語ってみ
She
せ
gonna
よ
say there is no
うか。
19th?
どんな拠り所を叩き切って
There's actually only one person on this island. Yeah, it's you and everybody else is a cyborg.
Everybody else
そ
isn't
う
even human.
だいつもの怯えた顔を見せてみるがいい。
Kawaii.
There's actually only one person on this island, and surprise, it's not even you because you don't even exist either.
Apparently.
何
Oh no. Oh
Oh,
no.
Battler laugh.
Oh no, what is happening?
そうな
Oh.
んだ
Battler's
わら
lost it.
It's going fucking bad.
I wonder what kind of creepy look I had in my face as I laughed right then. That red sure is scary. Every time it jumps out, I'm driven into the depths of hopelessness. But I had already realized it. There was no need to be unnecessarily afraid of the red.
また抜きやがったな。それで今度はベアトリーチェ様は何をどう赤で語ってくださるってんだ？
Speaking in the red confirms things and gives him more hints.
Mm-hmm. That's true.
それはどういう意味
She can corner herself in if she speaks in the red too much.
急に余裕を見せよって
悪いが、その真っ赤な砲塔は俺も抜いてくれるのを待ってたんだ。さて、お前は今度は何を赤で宣言してくれるんだ？
We're
If
not gonna
she-
get any more red text for the rest of the game after this. No.
Oh, really?
No, I'm just joking because
Oh, okay.
she's not gonna give out anymore because she
She knows that he's trying to.
yeah.
Well, I was gonna say, if she refuses to say that there is no 19th person in red text, then that
Okay.
kind of, I mean,
That might confirm.
that gives him some
Unless
leeway.
unless she's doing what he does with the spear, running around with her head cut off, desperately trying to not have that 19th box opened.
maybe.
Because until it's opened, it either exists nor it doesn't exist.
And she can keep playing this game with him
Keep postponing it.
as long as we don't know what's in it.
I originally said that was a good tactic for Battler, but in reality, Battler needs to close it down.
So
She's
he
the
can
person
narrow
that
down his-
she's the person that wants to keep it going on for infinity and infinity.
Yeah. Yeah.
So she's the one that's, aha,
Interesting.
it was me all along.
犯人
John
は
is
18
actually the
人の
murderer,
中にいる
guys.
とでも言ってくれるの
Umineko
か？
solved.
言っとくが、そいつは自爆だぜ。その時点でお前は魔女説を自ら捨てたも同然。まさに投了だ。
That's right. The red isn't always necessary to Beto's advantage. On the contrary, if she used it in the wrong way, it's dangerous enough she could bring about her own death. And if she used it carelessly and said something which ended up denying herself, it would be exactly the same thing as self-destructing.
確かに俺にとって18人の中に犯人がいると赤で言われることは受け、たとえ誰が犯人であっても俺はきっと辛い気持ちになるだろうぜ。だがそれはそれ以前に人間が犯人だとお前が赤で語ることはお前の投了宣言にも等しい。
Yeah.
Just say there is no more than 18 people on the island. That doesn't do anything.
お前が俺と差し違えても相打ちにしたいってんならそれも面白い一手だろうぜ。だがこの勝負は俺の勝ちで終わる。
Because a witch isn't a person.
Yeah. As long as you're
Beichirichi's
making that distinction.
Yep. Beichirichi's red was truly her secret weapon, her treasured blade. The things she spoke in red would become solidified as the truth, and no amount of evidence or counter-arguments could change them. They had cut me down to size many times now, rending into any what?
Rending into. So, like, cutting someone
Oh,
into.
rending into
Pulling someone apart.
running into any supports my heart had to lead on. However, she used it carelessly, then I could also find a little information about the truth. In the last game, especially during the chapel's locked room trick, I had taken advantage of that and had once closed her in almost completely, but she was also pretty sly. She had learned from experience and since then had started using discretion in the timing of the red. This feeling of tension was almost literally like battle with real swords. The battle of Schrodinger's swords. This was a battle of high intelligence in Schrodinger's swords. No, not of intelligence, of Schrodinger's swords. It was really twisted Schrodinger's logic. This is the world's craziest and worst Schrodinger's battle of twisted Schrodinger's logic.
Exactly.
さあ今度はお前の出番だぜ。そうさ、お前のヘンペルのカラスを使うにはまず18人以外に何人の人間がいるのかを赤で確定させる必要がある。その上でそれらの人間についてさらに赤で犯人でないことを宣言したならば、なるほど、こいつは俺にとって致命傷になるだろうぜ。
あれほど怯えていた赤をもはやみじんも怯えぬとはな。たくましいやつ。
抜いてみろよ、殿下の宝刀。バッサリ決まって 今度こそ俺を屈服できるかもしれねえぜ。
Nice. Whip it out.
面白い。こうでなくてはな。
Agitate her, provoke her, drive her into a corner to make her speak in red. Of course, her red has always cut right through my only threads of hope. But don't be afraid of that. On this island overcome with falsehoods and illusions, the only thing I can trust is the information that she speaks in red. It is my only way across the chasm of hell, just a single tightrope. Her merciless blood-red blade is the only way I can survive. This isn't just walking on a tightrope, it's literally walking on the edge of a blade.
Schrodinger's blade.
Of course I'm afraid. In terms of her contrapositive, my victory condition, the denial of the witch, meant that the culprit was a human. But I didn't want to search for the culprit amid the 18, therefore I held on to a weak point since I had to deny the witch and the 18 at the same time, since I had been unable to understand that last time that was where she had hit me, leaving me tattered and defeated, but that's alright. Let her hit me. Let her attack. No problem. Someone had said it once in an old sword-fighting movie, that a good fortress has one, and only one intentionally weak point. That enemy would gather there. They would be lured there, and that would be where the actual battle took place. As long as I understood my weak points, as long as she wants to attack those weak points, it's as if I've induced her to attack there. Carefully judge the distance from your enemy and retreat step by step. Make them draw their sword first. The more she recklessly flourishes that red, the more chances I'll have to strike back. Don't be afraid of the red. Keep the pressure on so that she is forced to refute with the red. No matter how oppressively she speaks in red, yes, that red itself is the same as fresh blood spurting from her wounds.
さあどうしたよ。まずはこの島に合計で何人いるのか。さもないとお前のカラスは俺に切り込めないぜ。
I'm just waiting for her to say there are 10 people on the island.
Yeah, some crazy number.
やぶれかぶれはこうもやりにくいとは。捨て身というやつはいつの時代も侮れんな。やはり金蔵の孫。追い詰められれば追い詰められるほどに不敵。
Ronove cleared his throat.
膠着しましたね。せっかくの紅茶も冷めてしまいますよ。
Drink it yourself. Ronove, who was supposed to be her ally, roguishly rushed her next move. Beto smiled back, probably intending to demonstrate that she was all still relaxed, but she couldn't hide the sweat building up on her forehead. By now she had completely lost that relaxedness, which had allowed her to turn her nose up at her worthless opponent. Of course, she probably really wasn't cornered by something like this. She was just being cautious. Until now, I'd been inexperienced. I didn't have a good grasp on how to fight, and I was underpowered as an opponent. However, now that we'd reached the third game, she realized that I was starting to become skilled, and she had grown more cautious, thinking every move over carefully. Sure, that's just fine, Beatrice, and sorry to have kept you waiting. Are you happy now?
面白くなってきたぜ。
バトラ。
In before red
価
text.
値が開かねえな。ならズバッと気持ちよく。い
ほう。いつものやつとな。ならば頼もうではないか。あれを聞かぬと。やはり始まった気がせぬわ。
It's no good. It's no goddamn good. The first move was mine. Oh.
行くぜベアト。
Objection.
副賞要求。この島には18人しかいない。こいつを赤で言われちまったら、俺は18人の誰かを疑わざるを得ない。19人目の仕業にはもうできず、八方塞がりさ。
It's really all or nothing.
俺は18人の中に犯人が絶対にいないと信じてる。あんな残酷な殺人を18人の誰にも起こせるものか。繰り返すぞ。副賞要求。
She's
こ
gonna
の
say
島には18人しかいない。
拒否する。
The hell?
理由は明かさない。
Interesting.
Woo! I had avoided what would have been the worst red for me. If she had repeated that, I would have been faced with those two worst choices of accepting the witch or suspecting one of the 18, like last time all over again. But Beato had not proclaimed my ultimate and greatest weakness in red. She had declined to repeat it, even though there was no reason why she shouldn't have struck, even though it was a weakness she should have been drilling at. She hadn't sliced me up with red by using that move, which should have been as good as forking a rook in the king. This was a big sign of my advantage. That's right. The culprit isn't one of the 18 people. I won't doubt anyone. And since the culprit isn't a witch either, it means that a 19th person exists on this island. And that's you. A person... Yes, Matt, that's you.
It's us.
A person who has grandfather's mistress of 30 years. Yes, this game's gonna break the fourth wall. It's gonna be us all along. It wasn't me all along. See? Ha!
I believe it.
It has been living secretly in a hidden mansion in the forest for a long, long time. The human Beatrice. Haha.
そうさ、お前は魔女なんかじゃない。この島に何十年も隠れ住んできた。ただの人間なんだ。
1000年を経た無限の魔女のわらわをただの人間呼ばわりしたか。
For a while, Beatrice continued to laugh unpleasantly, gloating or maybe spiteful.
いいか、続けるぜ。続けて副賞要求。この島には19人以上がいる。
Beatrice fell silent once again. The feeling that confirms the number of humans on this island might possibly stand to give her some large disadvantage was probably making her extremely cautious. The red had already become a foothold for my counterattack. With that in mind, the red had become a risk for the witch. But if she couldn't repeat this, her Hempel's Raven wouldn't work. In order to break my devil's proof, first the existence of and the number of people outside the 18 needed to be confirmed in red. That's right, she couldn't break the existence of a 19th person unless she used red. If I had closed Beato in, giving her no choice but to speak in red, there really was a way to fight, and in this witch's game.
拒否してもいいんだぜ。お前が赤で言えないなら、この島の合計人数は18プラス X ってことになる。この X 初手で許すには相当でかい大駒だぜ。何しろ以後18人の誰にも不可能だったという根拠のトリックは全て18人以外の人間 X で説明可能になる。全員アリバイ系の密室を全て打ち破れる大駒だ。
It was just like a bishop in chess, which can cut a thin line through enemy forces as long as there's a slight gap. It only exerts an effect over squares of the same color, but it has a great ability to control the board. It looked like Beato also well understood her current plight. She couldn't just let an important piece go, especially this close to the beginning of the game. Wait, she refused to say there are only 18 people. But
she also refuses to say that
if she isn't that the same thing as saying there are hold on.
Yeah, I'm having a little bit of trouble.
Let's go back. I want to figure out what she said here. All right. He asked, there are at least 19 people on this island. All right. If she's okay.
If she says that there are at least 19 people on this island in red, that confirms the existence of the 19th person.
Yes.
If she refuses to, Battler can stick with his 18 plus X thing.
Yes.
Or even if she said there are if she said there are only 18 people on the island in red, that would mean that
it would narrow it down to
he would have to
suspect one of But if she said
family members. But she refused to say that.
But why would she say this in red though? This just boxes her in. She doesn't want to box herself in. She wants to leave it open. There's no way she's gonna say there's 19. Even if there is 19 or more people.
Yeah.
There's no way she's gonna say this in red. This is even stupider than saying the first one in red.
Yeah, I agree.
If she pulled out her red treasure sword, it wouldn't be that difficult to save that piece, but Beato was completely aware that I was expecting it. She was afraid that a careless red truth might end up strangling her own neck, because in the first place, a witch was something that should be denied in red. Believe, don't doubt. Witches don't exist. Something like that can't exist in this world. They can only exist in the cracks in reality. They are a fragile existence curled up in these cracks, frantically trying to protect themselves from the brutal winds of the truth, and they can only barely exist like a mirage by surviving on falsehoods and fantasy. Oh, no. Oh. In other words, the red which only witches can use is the very reality by which they risk denying themselves. The more they brandish the red words, the more they begin to lose bit by bit that crack in reality inside which they can endure. This is why they don't want, through the red, to carelessly lose that crack in reality which is based on fuzzy information, or in other words, fantasy, because they understand that they would be gradually cornering themselves. Of course, she would never admit it, because if she did, it would be the same as admitting that she is something that can't exist in this world, like an imaginary number. Don't be afraid. Stay strong. She knows this deep down and better than anyone. That her red treasure sword can't easily be used without considerable resolve.
どうしたよ繰り返す副将要件この島には19人以上がいる
Denied.
So she can't give up the peace, basically.
At the end of a long, long time spent deliberating, letting a single deep breath escape, she quietly proclaimed her refusal. I had thought she'd use it, but bade her refuse to speak in red even though it would cost her victory in the opening part of the game. Wait.
So she must think that she can gain the upper hand later on in the game.
How would saying this give her victory? Saying that there are at least 19 people on the island give her victory.
Wait, read the one that's on screen right now.
She refused to speak in red even though it would cost...
It would cost her victory.
Oh, it would cost her victory. Okay,
Not
okay.
give her victory.
Yes. I misread. My bad. Thanks.
拒否したということは今後俺は18人以外の架空人物 X を
好きにするがよい。わらわはそなたの副将を今はそれで十分であろう。拒否の理由は
She's not gonna say.
What?
今はまだ明かさ
She has a reason for declining it.
ない。いずれすぐにわかる。
Oh, okay.
No, soon in any case.
もったいぶりやがってよ
あえて使わぬ赤もまた赤らしい使い方よ。そなたは赤き宝刀と呼んだよ。愉快な例え。わらわも使おう。宝刀は抜かぬうちが花よ。むしろ抜かぬことによって醸せる畏怖というものもある。
そうだな俺はお前がいつ赤でひっくり返してくるか常に念頭に置いて戦わなければならないこいつはえれえプレッシャーだそれに副将を拒否される方が辛い場合もある何しろ俺の読みが正しいから拒否できないのかミスリードにはまって泳がされてるのか区別がつかないからなそういう意味ではなるほど抜かずの宝刀ってわけだ
同じ突き落とすが少しでも高いところに行かせてからに限るまだ始まったばかりまだまだこの勝負は淡き勝利に今はよい今は
But he hasn't won the game yet. He's basically just taken a piece from her.
Yep.
But
Basically.
he hasn't won the game.
That bitter comment did in fact appear to have marked the end of the game's opening battle. Even so, I couldn't relax my guard at all. I was unable to relax my feeling of tension until I was greeted by the sound of Ronave's applause.
お見事ですバトラ様
But
まずは序盤はバトラ様有利の展開でスタートというところでしょうか
さあなこの駒が俺の手でもぎ取ったものなのか取るよう誘導されたものかはまだわからねえなどうせお前のことだ俺が罠にはまり始めてるのを知ってて白々しく拍手をしてるんだ
I would never do that.
まさか
no, of course.
How could you think
序
that?
盤とはい
I'm
え
innocently celebrating your ability that has enabled you to take that one shot at my lady.
純粋に祝福いたしております
I have a very good Ronave voice.
何しろお
It's not
嬢
bad.
様は
It's really
す
not.
ごく
It's a good
増
voice.
長するお方たまにはこのような刺激も良い薬かと思いますよ
お前んとこの執事ほんと口悪いな
であろうたまにわらわでもカチンとくるぞ
それは大変に失礼いたしました。さあさあ、お嬢様にバトラーさん、紅茶のおかわりはいかがですか。まだゲームは始まったばかりでゲームを彩るお茶とお菓子はどうぞお気兼ねなくゲームをおすすめになってください。
そうさせてもらう。先を進めるぜ。これからが本番だ。
よかろう。時計を進めようではない。ロノウェ、紅茶を頼む。
かしこまりました。クッキーは？
いらぬ。ベルゼブブにやれば喜ぼう。しばし沈黙せよ。
While listening to the sound of the demon butler pouring tea, the witch closed her eyes slightly and fell into silence. For some time, she was deeply lost in thought, but eventually a roguish glint came into her eyes.
She's a little vexed right now. But now she's gathering her shit.
わらわがどうして
Oh no.
外にて赤で語るのを拒否したの。
何？上等じゃねえかよ。
何？
お手並み拝見と行くぜ。
やはり見逃すには惜しい大駒。拙速かもしれぬが動かせてもらおう。赤は使わない。今よりそれをわらわに代わってローザが説明する。
I don't like this.
聞くがよ。
What? Rosa?
World's best mom. World's best mom.
Oh no. What is Rosa gonna do? I'm not ready for this. Whatever it is.
もちろん私も同意よ。ローザもそうでしょ。ローザ？
ごめんなさい。私も同じよ。同意するわ。
どうしたんや、ローザさん。あんたさっきからずいぶんおとなしいな。
I'm Beatrice.
体調でも悪いんとちゃうか？
Yeah, really?
From the beginning, Rosa had never been one to willingly cut in on the siblings' fights, but even so, she seemed unmotivated and had said almost nothing at all during this night's conference. The whole time she had been hanging her head and appeared to be thinking of something else.
あんたさっきからぼんやりしてるわよ。そんなので遺産が守れると思ってるの？あんたも一児の母なんだから。もっとしっかりなさいよ。
ごめんなさい。
朝がだいぶ早かったんじゃないかね。体調が悪いなら無理をしない方がいいだろう。
客室にベッドの用意がありますよ。お休みになってはいかがです？ご案内しますよ。
いえ、大丈夫です。ありがとう。
どうしたんだ？何か心配事でもあるのか？
Hold on.
いえ、別に。
Sorry. So, it's Beatrice's move right now. She said, listen, Rosa will explain. Who belongs to who in terms of pieces
I have
on
no
the
idea.
chessboard?
I have no idea.
Because the Ushiromiya family shouldn't belong to Beatrice as pieces. They should belong to Battler, I would think.
I have no idea. Maybe it's anybody can move anybody they want. Maybe it's not necessarily the chess you
It's
think
not
of.
actual chess.
No, maybe it's not.
Interesting.
そう？さっきからずっと心ここにあらずという感じよ。そしてそれは今私たちがしている議題と何？
At those words, everyone stared at Rosa together. As in response, Rosa's shoulders quivered. Apparently, Kyrie's guess hadn't been wrong. Nor did Rosa deny it.
いえ、
Out with it. She swallowed whatever it was she had been about to say and went silent again. By now, even the other siblings were also beginning to realize that something about her demeanor was different from usual.
どうしたんだ？さっきからおかしいぞ。何か思うことでもあるの？
わしら全員で団結しようって誓い合ったばかりやないか。一人で悩むなんて水臭い話やで。話したってな。
どうぞ話しなさい。
Pressed by the men, one after the other, Rosa made up her mind and nervously began to open up. It was almost as though she was trying to confess to some modest prank which she had inadvertently brought about a serious situation. Such was the atmosphere in the room.
いえ、ベアトリーチェっていうお父様の愛人って本当に生きてるのかしらって思って。
はあ？そりゃ生きてるに決まってるでしょう。こうして手紙を送ってくるぐらいだもの。
元気かどうかは別の問題だろうけどね。
I was actually wondering about that in terms of the timeline. Like, because if a Beatrice person exists, she would have to be Kinzo's age, a little older or a little younger.
Or maybe Rosa has... Is she still alive? Maybe Rosa has some reason to believe that she's not still alive.
Maybe.
I don't know.
肖像画の美女も今じゃ
Maybe
き
she'll
っ
get
と
to that.
いいお年だろうぜ。
元気やと思うで。金のことで悪知恵働くやつは決まっていくつになっても元気や。案外悪巧みは最高の回春剤かもしらへんで。
生きてるはずないの。
She can be alive.
今なんて
ベアトリーチェは死んでるのよ。私が殺した。
What?
Ooh! What? What? Huh.
なんだって。
どういうことよローザ。
It was me all along.
でも私が殺したわけじゃ。でも私があんなところに連れ出したから。
What?
やっぱり私が殺したのよ。
What?
あれは夢だと思い込もうとしたのよ。でもやっぱりあれは夢じゃなかったのよ。だからこれはベアトリチェの俺からの手紙なのよ。
It was so sudden that everyone was lost for words.
Yeah, no shit.
Rosa kept on talking, unable to stop holding her head as her hair flew all about.
どうか落ち着いてローザさん。
わしには何がないやらさっぱりや。
I don't either.
もう
Hideyoshi speaks for all
ど
of
う
us.
いう意味なんや。
2つの意味があると思う。まず1つ目は言葉通りの意味、そしてもう1つは私たちの想像が正しかったことを裏付ける。
That there was a human named Beatrice.
Yeah.
ということはローザはベアトリーチェに会ったことがあるというのか。
The fuck?
そんな話ローザの口からは一度も聞いたことがないわ。ローザいつよ。あなたは一体いつベアトリーチェに会ったのよ。
昔よ。ずっと昔よ。まだこの島に引っ越してきたばかりで私は幼かった。私は悪くないの。私が殺したわけじゃ。
Come on, tell us a story.
落ち着け。誰もお前を責めちゃいねえぜ。まず水でも飲め。な。夏日さん、水差しを頼む。
Batter up.
はい。どうぞローザさん、どうか落ち着いて。
Oh, that picture.
Oh, I see. Good one.
Until Rosa was unable to regain her calm amidst her ragged breathing, no one was able to speak a word. Go fuck yourself.
Wow. And let me guess, next chapter is gonna be completely not... Oh, is it?